Okay. I've been trying to get on here for a while, for a few hours. I just had so much to do prior to the Sabbath that I had to push this back. I don't really, well, let me just be quiet about that because I never know how long I'm going to be on here, especially when I'm fasting. Let's see here. Trying to get to y'all. Just a moment. Just a moment. Hold on a second. Let's see. Let's see what happens when I click on this. Let me go back. Oh boy, events. Okay, I made it. All right. Okay. I want to deal more with this prodigal son. Now, you saw how I used the prodigal son to show and illustrate how Esau is going to have to be around in order to serve us. And you know what? And there's a lot of information about this in Obadiah, actually, the very text that they use. If you just go to Obadiah, it proves that Esau is going to be around in the last days. Y'all saw how I went to Daniel chapter 12, verse 2, where it states that there's going to be a resurrection of unrighteous people. And guess who's going to be in that resurrection? People that are descendants of Esau, maybe even Esau himself. So this idea that the Most High is going to perform an extinction event with anybody that has Edomite blood is really preposterous. It's really a long shot. It absolutely is. Let's hit on some things right here. I got so much stuff to give right now on this subject of about the prodigal son. Let's look at this. The parable of the lost sheep, the lost coin, and the prodigal son bring out a very distinct lesson concerning the Most High's pitying love for Israelites who are straying from him. Remember, y'all, when the prodigal son was removed from the father's house, the father didn't send him away. The father didn't send the prodigal son away. The lost sheep didn't get kicked out. And the lost coin wasn't thrown out the house by the owner. See, we really have a misapprehension on what the wrath of the Most High is about. And I did a study on that, a lesson on that not too long ago. There's a lot of misapprehension about the wrath, what the wrath of the Most High really is, and how it really looks. Let me tell you something, y'all. The wrath of the Most High was built into everything that he created since the foundation of the world, before the foundations of the world. See, we look at the wrath of the Most High as something that is reactive, when in actuality it is something that is proactive. Because let me tell it to you like this. The wrath of God was built into every aspect of creation. It's just a natural design when you deviate from the will of the Most High. The only reason why we don't see the wrath of the Most High like we deserve to see it is because of the grace of the Most High. But because that grace of the Most High, it hovers around us and insulates us from the cumulative effects of the wrath of the Most High, which is built into everything. The rain, the fire, the snow, the sea, the ocean, the animals, sunlight. Yeah, the wrath of the Most High is there, y'all. See, we think the Most High has to get mad like human beings. We think the Most High has to perform wrath like white people, Caucasian people, people that have oppressed us and held us captive. No, the wrath of the Most High is built into everything already. And if you deviate from the natural laws of creation, you're deviating from the natural laws of his character. The Most High don't really have to react to you. You know why? Because his wrath is already built into everything. It's built into everything. Let me give you an example. It's like when a child touches a hot oven and gets burned. Is that the Most High being reactive? No. That's just a natural law. If you touch a stove with your bare skin, guess what? The wrath, you're going to get burned. This is what the wrath of the Most High really looks like. The reason why we think it's reactive is because the grace of the Most High be protecting us. from all that built-in wrath that's built into every atom that created the earth. How is it that the Most High is the most powerful being in the world, but he has to respond in the same way that a judge or a police officer has to in order to stop a person that's evil? How is the Most High more powerful than a police officer, but he reacts the same way as a police officer or a judge or a Texas Ranger? Yeah, that don't make sense. He said his ways is higher than our ways, even when it comes to wrath. The Most High is full of kindness and tenderness towards everyone that is exposed to temptation. Now, if you look at the parable of the prodigal son, it presents the Most High's dealing with those who once knew the Father's love, but have allowed the devil to lead them captives. So the Bible tells us that a certain man had two sons, and the younger of them said to the father, his father, Father, give me my portion of goods that fall to me. I want to look at something right now. I want to digress just a little bit. Let's go to Romans because something popping into my head. Romans 1:18. I want to show you a aspect of the wrath of the Most High that I never see talked about. Let's look at Romans 1, I believe 18. No, there's no, is there one? Yeah. Romans 1:18. Let me see. Yeah. Talking about the wrath on the unrighteous. I want to give you a better, clearer picture of what it looks like. I know what you've been taught. I know what we've been taught, but I'm going to help you with something. In Romans 1:18, the Bible states, "For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness." Oh, let me say it to you. They hold the truth in righteousness, but guess what? The truth is not in them. How do we know that? Because they hold the truth in unrighteousness. In other words, they have a form of godliness, but deny the power thereof. Now, watch this. We're talking about the wrath of the Most High. Because that which may be known of Yahuwah is manifested in them. Hold on a second. Because that which may be known of Yahuwah is manifested in them. For Yahuwah have shown it unto them. Now watch this. Verse 20. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen. Now watch this, y'all. For the invisible things of him. Is wrath a invisible thing of him? Yes. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made. This lets us know that the wrath of the Most High was built into the creation plan. It wasn't an afterthought. Just like his love wasn't an afterthought, his wrath wasn't an afterthought either. And we can understand this by the things that are made. Even his eternal power, which we cannot see. And one aspect of his eternal power is his wrath. Even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. So even if you don't believe the Bible and you just look at the things in nature, in creation, you can see the eternal power of the Most High and the Godhead. But you can't see it if you're not born again. Verse 21, because that when they knew God, like the prodigal son, when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, like the prodigal son, like that baby boomer generation, but became vain in their imagination. Why? Because they got affirmative actions and they got government jobs, and their foolish hearts was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. Now listen very carefully. Romans 1:23. And changed the glory of the uncorruptible Elohim into an image made like unto a corruptible man. That's exactly what the prodigal son did. The Bible says that Israel is the glory of God. And Israel turned its glory into the glory of corruptible nations of men, and to birds, and to four-footed beasts, and to creeping things. Wherefore Yahuwah also gave them up to uncleanliness. Now watch this. This is the wrath of God. Romans 1:24. He gave them up. The wrath of the Most High is giving you up. That's what the wrath of the Most High really is. If the Most High gave you up completely, you wouldn't even exist anymore. If the Most High gives you up, you won't be protected from water. You won't be protected from fire. You won't protected from evil people, animals. You won't even be protected from the atmosphere that you breathe. Yes, this is a description of the wrath of God. It's not reactive, it's proactive. Why? Because it's already built into everything that exists in the earth. Wherefore God gave them up to uncleanliness through the lust of their own hearts. How did he give them up? Through the lust of their own hearts. He's not inflicting a sentence like a magistrate would do or a judge would do. No, he just gives you up to what's in your own heart. And guess what destroys you? What's in your heart? That's the wrath of the Most High. He just give you up to what's already in your heart. He don't really even have to do nothing like that. That's reactive. He really don't. He got to react the same way that a man would act. No, I don't believe that. That's ridiculous. But we call him the Most High, but he acts just like a man. No. Mm-mm. Who changed, verse 25, Romans 1:25, who changed the truth of Elohim into a lie. It's talking about Israelites here, y'all. It's not talking about Esau. I know you're thinking about Esau, but it's not talking about Esau. It's talking about Israelites who changed the truth of Elohim into a lie. And guess what type of Israelites this is talking about? This is talking about Israelites who are experts in Torah. Mhm. Who changed the truth of God into a lie and worship and serve the creature more than the creature, who is blessed forever. Amen. Now, because Israelites did this, Romans 1:26, for this cause Yahuwah gave them up. See, again, he gives them up to what's already in their heart. He draws back his presence. And guess what happens to you? You experience what people call the wrath. But a lot of people think that wrath is reactive, but really it's proactive because it's already built into everything. If the Most High draw back from you, you'll just probably blow up, depending on how he draws back from you. You might drown, you might burn. A she bear might come out the forest and eat you up while you're in the city laying in your bed. So I know people think that the Most High is tit for tat because we misunderstand the scriptures and we have a misapprehension of his character. Romans 1:27. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust towards one another, men with men, and it's talking about Israelites, y'all. It's not talking about Edomites or Chinese or no. I know most of us are fixated on that kind of stuff, but it's talking about Israelites. And likewise also men, leaving the natural use of women, burned in their lust one towards another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error, which was meat. Romans 1:28. And even as they did not like to retain Yehoshua in their knowledge, Yahuwah, look what he do, y'all. Look, here's the wrath again. The third reference of the proactive wrath of the Most High. It's just built into everything already. And even as they did not like to retain Yahuwah in their knowledge, how did Yahuwah's wrath manifest itself? By giving them up over to a reprobate mind. When the Most High does this to you, it's no telling what's about to happen to you. You might burn, you might drown, it's no telling. An animal might come eat you, a mass murderer might come kill you. He just gives you up to a reprobate mind. He withdraws his presence. He buffers you from his grace. I hope you all are understanding this. God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient. Being filled with all unrighteousness. Talking about Israelites, y'all. There are Israelites that are filled with all unrighteousness. And guess what? They teach Torah. They teach the Bible. They sing in choirs. They are lyricists, psalmists, prophets, apostles, mores, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetous, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, and whisperers, backbiters, haters of God. Yep, they teach Torah. He already told you that over there in John chapter 8. He said, if God was your father, you would love me because I proceed and came forth of the Father. Haters of God, despiser, despiteful, proud, boasters. They even invent evil things. Do they teach Torah? They teach Torah in the context of the letter of the law, not the spirit. These are demons with Bibles. Without understanding, covenant breakers. Without natural affections, implacable, unmerciful. Unmerciful. I'll say it again. Unmerciful. Who, knowing the judgment of Yahuwah, that which commits such things are worthy of death. So these people are not ignorant concerning how the Most High operates. But even still, they that which commit such things are worthy of death. Not only do the same, but have pleasure in other people that do them. Isn't that fascinating? I just wanted to give you a clearer picture of what the wrath of the Most High looks like. And this is the reason for us going to Romans chapter 1, verse 18. Just a moment. And we have all that among Hebrew Israelites. We got debaters, haters, you name it. So these people are actually, technically, they are not teaching Torah. Technically, the Pharisees and Sadducees didn't teach Torah. They were teaching the letter of the law, because the law was not sealing their characters. I want to greet the people in the room because I couldn't see who was in the room because I was on another page. What's going on, CG? Pamela Lampkin, shalom to you. Shabbat shalom. Kevin Mercer, good to see you again, brother. Amar Yahu, Ban Yashraal, shalom. Sue Oliver, shalom to you. I think I got everybody. And New Life, what's going on, man? Shalom, I don't think I've seen you before. But in any case, welcome. I hope you all are having a wonderful Sabbath. I know for some of you all, the Sabbath hasn't come yet, but I know you're still in the preparatory hours of the Sabbath. But I'm going to preemptively greet you with a Shabbat Shalom. In any case, now let's get back to this prodigal son. I want to share something with you that came to me today. I know that Martin Luther King did some admirable things. I understand that. You're not going to have a wicked or righteous person do something, never do anything that is admirable. I understand that principle. However, Martin Luther King, we never heard him reveal to us that we were Israelites, and he knew that we were Israelites. But we see him standing up in the Lincoln Memorial singing the lyrics, citing the lyrics of the words, the song America. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. Of thee I sing. Now, this is Martin Luther King's, and I'm just showing you some of the aspect of the baby boomer prodigal indicators. The baby boomer generation was they were very much prodigals. They were way more interested in holding hands with white mommy and white daddy than they were with obeying the Most High as Israelites. You're not going to convince me ever that all those black people and none of them knew that they were Israelites. You're not going to, you can't, you can't trick me with that. But the baby boomer generation, you know what they did? They sacrificed the bag. They sacrificed for getting the bag. So Martin Luther King is standing at the Lincoln Memorial saying, my country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. Of thee I sing. The audacity. I want to give you a few scriptures here. Let's look at Psalms 137, verse 4. Let's start at verse 3. For there they carried us away captives, required of us a song. Now listen to this now. This is history and prophecy. They required of us a song, and they that wasted us required of us myrrh, saying, sing us one of those songs of Zion. As they're taking us into captivity, they are mocking us and asking us to sing a song about Zion. They wouldn't even ask us to sing a song about Babylon, America, Egypt. They didn't even ask that. But what do Martin Luther sing? What do he quote at the Lincoln Memorial? He quotes this: my country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. Of thee I sing. So Martin Luther King is standing up at the Lincoln Memorial singing a lie. How is it the land of liberty for you, Martin Luther King? Hello. How is it how is the land of liberty, but y'all marching on the Lincoln Memorial? How is it the land of liberty? How is this a land of liberty to be sung about, to sing about, but they're going to assassinate you? Huh? How is it the land of liberty? You don't even really have civil rights, but you're fighting for it. But you're singing about liberty. See, it's a lot of duplicity here. Martin Luther King was singing for the bag, y'all. He wanted to get close to white mommy, white daddy, so he can get the bag. Psalms 137, verse 4. So we respond to those who ask for us to sing songs of Zion so they can mock us. We respond in verse 4. Psalms 137, verse 4. How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? You see the contrast? Martin Luther King was willing to sing about how beautiful America was. But our ancestors who went into captivity couldn't even sing about Zion because they were in captivity. You see the difference? You see that coon spirit? I'm not saying that Martin Luther King didn't do anything positive. I'm not saying that. But every coon is going to do something positive. Every person that's seeking first the kingdoms of the world, they're going to do something positive. But is it really? Psalms 137, verse 5. If I forget thee, this is what our ancestors said when they were asked to sing songs of Zion while they were in a strange land, a land of captivity, a land of servitude. They said in verse 5, Psalms 137, verse 5, if I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. I never heard Martin Luther King say nothing like this. I never heard any of our black leaders say anything like this about where we really from. Verse 6, Psalms 137, verse 6. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. What does this mean in context of everything that we're discussing right now? It means simply this. If I forget about where I'm from, I'm not going to be singing no Pledge of Allegiance to America. I'm not going to be singing no national anthem. I'm not going to sing the Battle Hymn Republic. I'm not going to sing none of that. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I start thinking that I'm really an American and I'm not an Israelite, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. And then on top of that, our ancestors said this: if I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. See, that baby boomer generation, they preferred America above Jerusalem. You see that? They preferred America, affirmative action, women's liberation above serving the Most High. Even as Christians, let's say they didn't know that they were Israelites. You still don't get off the hook. You said you love Jesus, right? But guess what? You didn't even prefer Jesus above America. You see? So no matter how you dice it up, no matter how you slice it up, our people were not really about the Most High. So, because I know some Israelites are going to argue, oh well, most of our people didn't know that they were Israelites. Okay, fine, all right, whatever. Did they know about Jesus? Did they have some concepts of God? Even if they thought he was white, they still wanted America above white Jesus. So you trapped any way you go. You ain't gonna wiggle out of this and try to, no, I got you. I got you right by the throat. I got you right by the throat and I'm squeezing tight where you can't even breathe. So just stop struggling. So, you know, whatever's going to happen just happens naturally because the struggling ain't going to help you. The younger son in the story of the prodigal, he this young man, like a lot of young people today, they became weary of the restraints of his father's house. And I got to add this because I think this is a huge oversight when people deal with the prodigal son. The prodigal son, y'all, is a grown man, a full grown man. He's not no teenager. No, he's a full grown man. Okay? And he's still living at his daddy's house. I just got to put that out there because a lot of our people have adopted the customs of all of our enemies. When you get 18, you get out my house. When you get 18, you go into a university. You're gonna live in a dorm. You're gonna get an apartment. No, no. That's not our righteous culture. Your children's supposed to stay with you. So this young man, he became resistant of his father's house, the order that existed in his father's house, the character of the home. He became resistant. He thought that his liberty was being restricted. That's what he thought. And that's what a lot of people think about the Most High who claim to serve him. They think the Most High is trying to restrict their liberties. But the Father was doing nothing but causing his liberties to flourish. The Father's love and care for this young man were misrepresented in the young man's mind. And this young man was determined to follow the dictates of his own carnal inclinations. Don't that sound just like adults today? Don't that sound just like these baby boomers today? Don't it? Don't it though? That's what they were doing, y'all, in the 60s and 70s. This young man, the prodigal son I'm talking about in Luke 15, he didn't want to acknowledge any of the obligations to his father. He didn't want to acknowledge those things. Isn't that exactly what the 60s and 70 generation did? The young people who were at that time, young people at that time, they didn't express any gratitude to the Most High. They really didn't. Martin Luther King didn't. How could he do it if he's studying behind Mahatma Gandhi? But like so many, and like the prodigal son, that baby boomer generation, they love to claim the privileges of a child and sharing his father's goods. All black people in the 60s and 70s were saying that they were the children of God. They want the privileges, but they want the bag from white mommy, white daddy more. So In the story of the prodigal son, the inheritance that would fall to him at his father's death, he desired to receive now. This young man was bent on present enjoyment and temporal gratification. He didn't care nothing about the future of his father's house. He cared nothing about the future representation of his father's character, morals, laws. So this young man, his father gave him his patrimony. And so this young man, he goes into a far country away from his father's watchful eye. Listen how this happens, y'all. He goes away from his father. His father don't kick him out. See, a lot of people describe the wrath of God as God kicking you out. But the Most High don't have to kick you out of nothing. All he got to do is, like he said in Romans 1:18, all he have to do is let you go. And every demon in hell, and depending on how much he lets you go, you might preserve your life and you might not preserve your life. In the case of the prodigal son, the father withdrew from the son. He just let him go. And look at all the stuff that happened to that boy because he was out of the presence of his father. So this young man, after he receives his patrimony, after he goes into a far country away from his father's house, which is the house of bread, the bet, he got plenty of money. And then he quiets his conscience with the liberty to do as he likes, as he feel. You know, you can really say that that was an anthem of that baby boomer generation. It's your thing, do what you want to do. I can't tell you who to sock it to. Do what thou wilt is the whole of the law. It ain't none of my business. So the prodigal son, he flatters himself that the desires of his heart are being reached. He don't have nobody around him to say, do not do this, for this will injure you. Do this because it's right. So his evil companions, they become his conscience. His evil companions help him to plunge deeper into sin. And guess what? They all Israelites. He grew up around Israelites, and these were all Israelites. Don't tell me that Israelites will not take you deeper into sin. There's too many examples of this in the Bible. Any Israelite that's not born again will take you deeper into sin if you're following them. So this young man, he wastes his substance, like the Bible says, with riotous living. And the Bible tells of men who, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. We just read it over there in Romans 1:22. And this is the history of the prodigal son. This is the history of the baby boomer generation. The wealth which he has selfishly claimed from his father, he squanders upon harlots. The treasures of this young man's manhood is wasted. The precious years of life, strength, intellect, bright visions of youth, spiritual aspiration, all these things are consumed upon the fires of lust. But the Bible tells us that he had a wake up call because a great famine arose. And he began to be in want. And so what he did, he said, I'm going to vote for Barack Obama. I'm going to join the Congressional Black Caucus. I'm going to join the Masons. I'm going to join the Urban League, Rainbow Coalition, Operation Push, National Action Network. I'm going to join the Nation of Islam. And all these organizations he joined, guess what? They wasn't Edomite organizations. They were Israelite organizations. So he joins himself to a citizens of the country who sends him to the field to feed swine. And that's what all our black organizations have done to us. They got us feeding swines. To a Jew, this was the most menial and degrading of any type of employment that you could even come across. So this young man who has boasted of his liberty, now look what he's doing. He finds himself a slave. He finds himself in captivity. He finds himself as indentured servitude. He is in the worst of bondage, holding with the cords of sin. Now he realized that the glitter and tinsel that enticed him to have disappeared, and he feels the burdens of his chains. So the young man sits upon the ground amidst a famine, a severe famine, with no companions but pigs. And then the Bible says he is fain to fill himself with the husk of which the beasts are fed. He's not getting quality food. He's eating false doctrine, lies, false education. So he is eating husk which the pigs are fed with. Didn't that generation in the 60s and 70s, didn't they eat stuff like pig feet? Didn't they love pig feet and stuff like that? And they still eat it today. Lobsters and what else? Chitterlings. I call them shitterlings. Pardon me, but that's what I call them. I mean, that's actually what they really are. I mean, let's just keep it real. We try to make it all pretty. But that generation, that 60 generation, that 60 generation, they love chitlins, they love pig feet, they love crab, they love sausages, hog head cheese, bacon. They love it. Guess what that proves, y'all? That proves, guess what? That they are still prodigals. I don't care how much money they got. I don't care how rich they are. I don't care how poor they are. They still prodigals. They still not in the Father's house. Your diet is going to be indicative of the relationship that you have with the Father. And I could prove that just with this story here in Luke 15. You know that the son was not eating no pork at his daddy's house when he went back. You know that. You know he wasn't eating with no pig at his daddy's house. But that baby boomer generation, a lot of them are dying from eating that stuff. And they taught most of their children to eat that same stuff. So when this young man started to think of the gay companions who flocked about him in his prosperity, when he had a big bag on his side, the days of prosperity, and they ate and drank at his expense. There is not one left to befriend him after the bag has evaporated. Where now, prodigal son? Where now, baby boomer generation? Is that all that riotous joy that y'all used to celebrate and stuff? Mm. So this famine began to steal his conscience. This famine began to benumb his sensibilities. And then he started to think. He began to think himself happy. But now, with money spent, with hunger gnawing at his abdomen, with pride humble, with his moral nature diminished and dwarfed, with his will weak and untrustworthy, with his finer feelings seeming dead. Look what happens to this young man. He realized that he's one of the most wretched of mortals. Didn't the Bible say that the nation of Israel will be beneath only and not above? Like the prodigal son? Boy, this is a really, really powerful picture here in this parable. Although this young man was surrounded with the blessings of his love of the Father, there is nothing that the sinner bent on self-indulgence and self-pleasure desires as much as separation from the Most High. Isn't that sad? Isn't that sickening? You're surrounded by love. You're surrounded by prosperity. You're surrounded by power, authority, leadership. But because we are so bent on self-indulgence and pride of pleasure, it causes us to desire so much those things that we want to be separated from the Most High's character. Isn't this tragic? So, like the ungrateful prodigal son, he claims the good things of his father as his by right. Oh, yeah, I'm an Israelite. Oh, yeah, I'm a seed of Abraham. He takes them as a matter of consequence, pretty much. But guess what he does not do? He makes no return of gratitude to his father. He renders no service of love to his father's house. which is the house of bread. He begins to behave like Cain. The Bible says that Cain went out from the presence of the Lord to seek his home as a prodigal wanderer in a far country. So this is what sinners do in order to seek happiness and forgetfulness of the Most High. They try to establish their own thing and their own theme. Let me tell you something about this cautionary tale, a continuation of a cautionary tale. Let me say this, and I'm going to depart from you all for tonight. The prodigal son, the parable of the prodigal son does have a good ending, but it don't represent all prodigals. Let me tell you, y'all, most prodigals never come back. The Jewish nation had become the prodigal son. Most Israelites are never going to come back to the Father's house like the young man did in the parable in Luke 15. So don't think that just because you are a prodigal that you're going to come back like the guy did in the Bible. Mm-mm, mm-mm. A lot of us are going to leave and never come back. Most of us, almost all, are going to leave and never, ever want to see the Father again. The only way you can assure that you won't be one of those people, you got to watch how you're stepping right now. You're going to have to watch how you treat people right now. You got to watch what type of character that you transpose upon the image of the Most High. See, a lot of people don't think about the Most High in the proper way. They think he's a wicked Edomite judge sitting on a bench somewhere as a prosecutor. If you think of the Most High in those terms, it's only a matter of time before you leave. I don't care how zealous you are, how knowledgeable you are, how long you've been studying or teaching Torah, it won't matter. If you don't have the Father's character down pat, and let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, y'all. The seal of God, the seal of the Most High is his character. I know people talk about, a lot of people like to argue and debate about microchips and credit cards and bank accounts and all that. No, it's not. The seal of God is his character. The seal of the Most High is his character. That's what it is. If the seal of the Most High is his character, the mark of the beast cannot be no daggone microchip, RFID chip. I don't even care if they use an RFID chip. I don't even care if they mandate that everybody gets RFID chip. If you get the RFID chip, it means that you already got the character of Satan already. See, a lot of people thinking about RFID chips and they thinking about microchips and brain implants and all this kind of stuff. Let me tell you something, y'all. All the people that get that anyway, They already had the character of Satan before they even got an RFID chip. The mark of the beast is lovers of pleasure more than lovers of the Most High. That's what the mark of the beast is, y'all. People want to make this all complicated and scientific. I'm not saying that they're not going to use any science, but that's a symptom. That's a symptom. If they use an RFID chip, that is not the mark of the beast. If they make everybody on earth get a tattoo, that is not the mark of the beast. And let's say the tattoo is 666. It's still not the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is the character of Satan. That's what the mark of the beast is, y'all. We need to stop all this all these simple debates and stuff. By focusing on an RFID chip, you get the focus off of how you supposed to have the character of the Most High instead of the character of Satan. What a masterful Jedi mind trick Satan's playing with this RFID chip and barcodes and tattoos and oh man, I didn't heard so many different things in the 40 years I've been studying the Bible. And it like changes every 10 years. Every 10, 15 years, it changes. The mark of the beast is the character of Satan, y'all. The mark of the beast is lovers of pleasure more than lovers of the Most High. Everything that we read over in Romans chapter 1, verse 18 to the end of the chapter, especially the verses. You want to see what the mark of the beast is, y'all? You want to see what the mark of the beast is? Read Romans chapter 1, 29 to 32. These are composites of the mark of the beast. It's just aspects of the character of Satan. I'm going to list some of the things. Being filled with all unrighteousness, that's a mark of the beast. Fornication, that's a mark of the beast. Wickedness, that's a mark of the beast. Covetous, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of God. Just read those 4 verses. All these characteristics are marks of the beast. This lets you know that you belong to Satan. Get off of this RFID chip. Don't worry about no RFID chip. If they make you get an RFID chip and you serving the Most High and they force you to get it, you still won't have the mark of the beast. They are going to try to protect people who have the character of Satan. They're going to make it economically feasible for Israelites who have the character of Satan to perform commerce and trade. That's what they're going to do with the mark of the beast. When they see that you got the character of Satan, they're going to say, okay, he can buy something. He can sell something. We're going to let him have a travel, do international trade, local trade. We're gonna let him get a business license. He down for Satan. They're not gonna look and see if you got no stop. So, but anyway, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. You all have a wonderful Sabbath, wonderful evening, sweet dreams of the kingdom. I really enjoyed it. I thank you all for your support. I really do. I thank you for your encouragement. And I wasn't looking at any of the comments, so I got to go back and read some of the comments because someone may have asked the question and I didn't see it because I was on another screen reading scriptures and notes. But you all take it easy. Have a wonderful evening. This is Prophet Roe Nabi signing out and saying shalom. I'm out.